Last time, we talked about how your brain is biologically wired to work against you. We broke down the inner accountant, that part of your brain that's constantly running the numbers, weighing every risk, and always choosing the path of least resistance. Today, we're going deeper. Because your brain doesn't just sabotage you, it builds a fortress around you. And today, we're figuring out how to get out. Picture this. You're standing at the starting line of a marathon. You've got the right shoes, the ones you saw on the pros. You studied the technique, read the books, built the training plan. Your friends are up in the stands watching, whispering to each other, "He's got so much potential. He's definitely going to win this thing." You hear it, you believe it. But then the starting gun goes off, and you don't move. You just stand there, watching everyone else go. It's a race you're not running. One person, 10, 100, and you're still just standing there. It wasn't the running that scared you. It was the idea of coming in last. The idea that everyone would finally see. The potential was never real. Most of us spend years living in exactly that moment, stuck between the starting gun and the first step. We call it laziness. We call it weakness. We tell ourselves, "I just don't have enough discipline." But that's not what's happening. What's actually happening is that you've put on a heavy mental suit of armor, and now you can't move under the weight of it. You're not putting things off because you're disorganized, and it's definitely not because you lack willpower. You're putting things off because your brain found the perfect way to protect your self-worth from completely falling apart. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's your most sophisticated defense system. And today, we're going to pull it completely apart. We're going to talk about the gifted kid curse, why smart people procrastinate more than anyone else, why perfectionism isn't actually about quality at all. It's disguised cowardice. And most importantly, how to finally take off this armor that's stopping you from not just working, but from actually breathing. But first, we need to understand where this armor actually comes from, why some tasks feel effortless and others completely freeze us. The answer is in how your brain decides what counts as a threat. Think about it. When's the last time you procrastinated on brushing your teeth or taking out the trash? You don't sit in front of the trash can thinking, "Maybe tomorrow." You just get up and do it. Because those tasks don't say anything about who you are as a person. Nobody's going to judge you on how professionally you took out the garbage. But the second it's a project where someone might actually evaluate you, a promotion, writing a book, launching a business, posting your first video, something completely different kicks in. A kind of paralysis, and here's why. For a lot of us, important work has turned into a never-ending courtroom trial. The moment you sit down at your laptop, a full hearing begins inside your head. And in this courtroom, you're playing two roles at once, the defendant and the most ruthless prosecutor in the room. The judge hasn't even walked in yet, and you're already reading your own indictment. You've quietly accepted a dangerous equation. What I do equals who I am. Think about how brutal that is. If you write a bad report, you're stupid. If your business fails, you're a loser. If your first video doesn't get views, you have no talent. Every piece of work becomes a verdict on your entire identity. And so your brain finds a brilliant solution. Don't start at all. Because if you never start, you can never be convicted. An unfinished project can't be called bad. A book you never wrote can't get a 1-star review. A business you never launched can't go under. As long as you haven't started, you're still the person with all that potential. And that's an incredibly comfortable place to live. You can keep telling yourself, "If I actually went all in, I'd blow everyone away." Just not yet. Procrastination is the bodyguard of that illusion. You choose the safety of doing nothing because an actual result, any result, might shatter the perfect version of yourself that only exists in your head. This is what some people call the gifted kid curse. People who grew up being told they were smart, talented, special. They often become the most ruthless procrastinators because their entire sense of self-worth got tied to their natural ability, not their effort. And now, every time they try something, they risk finding out that the talent wasn't real or wasn't enough. So the safest move is never to find out. Now here's where it gets interesting. Here's what's actually going on inside your head. There isn't just one you in there. There's a whole cast of characters, each one with different priorities, different fears, different jobs, and they're constantly fighting over who gets to drive. There's the optimizer. He's the one who wants to take over the world. He makes plans, spots opportunities, wakes up Sunday morning with burning eyes and a 40-item to-do list. He's the one buying new notebooks every September. He's the one who watches videos about successful people and thinks, yes, that's exactly it. Tomorrow, we start fresh. The optimizer is your best self, but he's got a serious problem. Living right next to him is the scared one. He doesn't care about goals or plans. His only job, his entire reason for existing, is to keep you away from pain. Any kind of pain, physical, emotional, social. Every time the optimizer says, tomorrow we turn everything around, the scared one quietly panics because he remembers everything. He remembers that project that crashed 3 years ago, the awkward conversation with your manager, the time you got something wrong in class and everyone laughed. The scared one keeps a very detailed record of every moment that ever hurt you. Your procrastination is what happens when the scared one grabs the wheel. He doesn't announce it. He just quietly steers you toward your phone, the fridge, another video. He creates this feeling that you're just taking a quick break before getting started. And then he locks you in a room full of Netflix and social media, because out there in the world, someone might hurt you. And the mistake everyone makes, every single person, is trying to beat the scared one into submission. Get it together. Stop being weak. Just do it. What's wrong with you? They pile on the self-criticism, thinking that's motivation. But that's like screaming at a crying kid. Screaming louder doesn't help. Screaming longer doesn't help. The scared one just gets more scared, and the resistance gets worse. What works instead is negotiation. That's the only thing that actually moves the needle. You have to acknowledge the scared one and talk to him like the part of you he actually is, the part that genuinely wants to protect you. I get it. I know this feels scary. I know you're trying to keep me safe. I appreciate that. But let's try something. Just one small step. Let's see what happens. The moment you stop fighting yourself, you free up an enormous amount of energy that was going into that internal war. The same energy you actually need to do the work. That's not weakness. That's precision. Real strength isn't about crushing your fear. Real strength is acting in spite of it. But first, you've got to stop fighting. All right, we know where the armor comes from and who's wearing it. Now, how do you actually take it off? The first tool is going to sound strange, maybe even insane, but it's the one that works better than anything else. To take the armor off, you need to do something completely counterintuitive. You need to officially, deliberately, with full awareness of what you're doing, give yourself permission to be bad. Not try your best, not do what you can. Specifically, genuinely, give yourself permission to be bad. This is called the permission to suck. There was a famous experiment with a group of photography students. Half the class was graded purely on quantity. 100 photos over the semester got you an A, 50 got you a B, and so on. Quality didn't matter, just volume. The other half was graded entirely on quality. They needed to bring in one single perfect photograph, just one. But it had to be flawless. Guess what happened at the end of the semester? Every single best photo, the strongest, most artistic, most technically impressive shots, came from the quantity group. While they were just cranking out frames, making mistakes, experimenting, shooting things that were obviously terrible and then trying again. They were getting better without even trying to. Every bad photo taught them something. Every mistake got absorbed into their skill. Meanwhile, the quality group, they spent the whole semester overthinking, waiting for the perfect light, planning the perfect shot, and they handed in completely mediocre work at the end. Because mastery lives in doing, not in waiting for the perfect moment to do. Your perfectionism armor is the most expensive thing you own. It doesn't protect the quality of your work. It destroys the existence of your work entirely. You're not creating masterpieces. You're not creating anything at all. So here's your new rule. My first 50 attempts are going to be complete garbage, and that's the plan. When your goal shifts from do it perfectly to make 50 bad drafts, the fear disappears. Your brain has nothing left to protect you from. You finally start moving because the bar is on the floor. And then something interesting happens. The moment you stop trying to be good, you start getting good. Because skill comes from repetition, not from being afraid of failure. That's the first tool. Lower the quality bar. But there's a second one that works on an even deeper level. It doesn't change what you do. It changes how you talk to yourself. And that conversation runs everything. Right now, this exact second, pay attention to how you talk to yourself inside your own head. I have to start this project. I should really go to the gym. I need to finish this by tonight. I have to finally deal with that thing. You hear those words? Have to, should, need to, must. Every single one of those words sends a signal to your brain that something outside of you is forcing you to do something you don't want to do. That's the position of a victim, a kid being made to eat something they hate. And the automatic, hardwired response to that kind of pressure is resistance and self-sabotage. The scared one hears, I have to, and immediately starts building a list of reasons why right now is not a good time. Replace that language completely, permanently. Switch to the language of someone who actually runs their own life. Someone who makes choices, not someone who serves sentences. Instead of, I have to work, I'm choosing to put in an hour right now so my evening is completely free and guilt-free. Hear the difference? In the second version, you're not a victim of your schedule. You're the architect of your time. You're making a conscious decision, and you can see exactly what you're getting in return. Instead of, I should lose weight, I'm choosing to work out because I want to feel strong and have actual energy. Instead of, I have to finish this project, I'm choosing to work on this today because it matters for the life I'm building. I'm choosing to work on this today because it matters for the life I'm building. This isn't a word game. This is a fundamental shift in position. When you say, have to, you're a prisoner. When you say, I choose, you're in charge. And the scared one inside you responds completely differently to those two things. Have to gives him 1,000 reasons to stall. I choose. He goes quiet. Because nobody's forcing anyone. It's your call. And you don't sabotage your own choices the same way you sabotage obligations. Try it right now. Pick one thing you've been putting off. Reframe it from I have to into I'm choosing to because. And notice what shifts. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience. Different words activate different parts of your brain. And different parts of your brain make different decisions. A lot of people procrastinate not because they're lazy, but because they're scared. Scared that if they actually start, work will take over everything. That there won't be any time left for life. That they'll turn into a machine that does nothing but grind. That's the scared one again, painting a picture of endless, joyless labor to keep you exactly where you are. Here's what actually works. Flip the logic of your schedule completely upside down. Most people do it like this. Plan the work first, fill the day with tasks, and then hope something's left over for actual life. Usually nothing is, and that creates this feeling that life is just one long stretch of work with the occasional break. Your brain sees that future, and it runs. It doesn't want to go there. Do it the other way around. Protect your recovery time first. Open your calendar and block out what actually keeps you functioning. Sleep, real meals, movement, time with people who actually charge you up, and non-negotiable time for things that bring you joy with zero productivity attached. Lock those blocks in. They're not optional. They're not a reward for working hard enough. They're the fuel. Without fuel, the engine doesn't run. Now look at what's left. You'll see not an endless ocean of work, but a few specific limited windows of 30, 60, maybe 90 minutes. And something interesting happens. Work time suddenly becomes scarce. And when something's scarce, we use it efficiently. You stop stretching a task across the whole day because you know that at 7 p.m. you've got plans, and those plans are non-negotiable. You're no longer working out of fear. You're no longer resting with guilt eating at you. You're living by a schedule you built and actively defend. That's what real discipline actually looks like. Not the ability to force yourself to work no matter what. The ability to build a life where work and rest aren't at war with each other. They're just two parts of the same system. 3 tools, you've got all of them now. But before you go use them, there's something important I need to say. Something most people never hear, and it changes everything. When it comes down to it, procrastination is just life lived in constant anticipation of a hit. You're like a boxer who never stepped into the ring, but never put his hands down either. Always braced. Always guarding against imaginary criticism, imaginary failure, the imaginary judgment of people who are honestly too busy worrying about their own lives to think about yours as much as you think they do. Here's the thing nobody actually says out loud. Nobody is coming to judge you. Most people genuinely don't care how rough your first draft is. They're too wrapped up in their own fear of failing. The world is not watching you through a magnifying glass waiting for you to slip up. The world is busy being the world. The world is busy being the world. Your mental armor is protecting you from a pain that doesn't exist, but it's definitely causing a different kind of pain. The pain of being stuck, the pain of potential that never became anything. The pain of watching your life go by while you wait for the perfect moment to start. You can't fly with 40 kilos of steel opinions strapped to your chest. You cannot run in body armor. Seneca said it 2,000 years ago. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And it's just as true today. Your fear of failure is a hallucination. Your brain is running a horror movie about the future, and you're making real decisions based on a film. But the film isn't real. The real pain isn't failure. The real pain is looking back 20 years from now and realizing you never actually tried. That you spent your whole life in preparation mode. In almost ready. In I'll start when the time is right. That you hid behind your potential and never found out what you were actually capable of. Here's the one thing I'm asking of you today. Surrender to imperfection, but don't surrender to inaction. Those are 2 completely different things. The first one sets you free. The second one slowly kills you. Give yourself permission to do something as badly as it can possibly be done. Right now. Today. Write 1 terrible page. Send 1 imperfect email. Do 1 awful workout. Record 1 rough video. Launch 1 unpolished project. Do something, anything, instead of waiting until you're ready. Ready is a myth. Readiness is something you find inside the action, not before it. Just drop the armor. It's too heavy. It's been on too long. And the road ahead of you, it needs lightness, not steel. If something shifted, the next video picks up this conversation and goes even deeper. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you know someone who's been standing at that starting line for years, unable to take the first step, send them this. Sometimes one thing, heard at the right moment, changes the entire trajectory. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, act.